In the 7-year history of the Nice Triathlon, this man has dominated the event. Mark Allen of the United States, winner in each of his 5 appearances. This year he's back to try and regain the title.
I've had very, very good luck here. I haven't been here for 3 years, not since 1986. Things have changed, the course has changed, and this year the field is probably as deep as it has ever been for this race. So for me to come back and win, it's going to be a much more difficult task than I've ever faced before here.
Hot on Allen's heels is sure to be fellow American Mike Pigg.
Well, right now Mark Allen's the best I've ever seen him, and to beat him I have to have the best race of my life.
Also from America, Scott Tinley, second 3 times, third twice here in Nice. Europe's challenge will again be led by last year's winner, Dutchman Rob Burrell.
I feel I'm pretty strong at the moment. I'm in good shape, but the competition will be strong too. It's just a new race.
And the locals will be hoping that Yves Cordier can improve on his 3rd place of last year and become the first French winner of the event. The favourite to take the women's title is Paula Newby-Fraser of Zimbabwe, winner of last year's Ironman in Hawaii, a result that psychologically has done wonders for her career.
I think it was very important psychologically because up until that race I never really thought that I could beat a lot of the women I had beaten, and just doing it has made me realize that I can beat them if I want to.
Jan Wanklin of Australia, second here last year, will be among the Newby-Fraser's closest rivals. As will the Pontus twins, never far apart, Sylviane on the near side here, Patricia on the far. A 4-kilometre swim, 120 kilometres on the bike and a 32-kilometre run. That's the Nice Triathlon, and for everyone the day starts bright and early. So, their preparations completed, more than 400 competitors are ready for the start of the 1989 Jeep Nice Triathlon. The swim course in the Bay of Angels is 4 kilometers long with 2 big turns, the first at 850 meters, the second coming at 2,450 meters. And there they are, all on the beach here on the Côte d'Azur in sunny Nice today, over 400 competitors. Smiles all round at the moment. Number 54 there, Jean-Luc Cabonne of France. And there's the start. This is the big splash as they go into the Bay of Angels. Well, alongside me here this year in Nice is Sarah Springman, 9 times the British champion. More importantly, Sarah, 5th and 6th here in Nice. Tell us about the start.
Well, it's total pandemonium at this precise moment in time. Arms and legs thrashing all over the place, and people desperately trying to get a breath of fresh air in order to start themselves off at the beginning of this 4-kilometre swim.
The biggest danger, I would have thought, Sarah, this looks like Yves Cordier has got out in front very, very quickly here, the French swim champion. Always a man for Nice, not a great international triathlete, but certainly a favourite today. So you can see 2 arrowheads here forming. Now, they're all making a big run for the buoy. What's the big dangers now in the sea?
Well, you have to make sure that you don't get too close to the other swimmers. You might be kicked, and also, of course, the water temperature is not very warm. It's only 21 degrees centigrade out there.
Well, that's Rob Burrell on the far right, wearing number 1 as last year's winner. Just ahead of him, Patrick Autissier. I make them 3rd and 4th at the moment in the sea here. Mark Allen just popping in there in 5th place, keeping an eye on the 2 very strong swimmers. And this is Jan Wanklin here, and she is heading the women at the moment. Mandy Dean coming up on her shoulder. So they're the 2 lead girls. Mandy Dean, probably the best swimmer here. Yves Cordier wearing 51. And he is leading the men, and I think that was to be expected today. Rip Esselstyn is lying in 2nd place as they head out towards this first buoy. And this looks like Patrick Autissier here. I make him in 3rd spot at the moment. And there's Burrell still hanging on to 4th place. And where is Mark Allen? There he is. So he's swimming very close indeed to Rob Burrell. And this possibly, although Allen started out life as a swimmer, he's probably a better cyclist now. Well, there's Mandy Dean. She's heading the girls, and she's gone through the first buoy. And also here's Scott Tinley, number 3, swimming alongside Paolo Saldana from Canada. And that's Jan Wanklin. She's the 2nd girl in the water at the moment. She swam very strongly indeed last time. Now this is the queue up to the buoy here, Sarah.
Yes, they've been swimming about 10 minutes now. Time for the field to thin out a bit, but look at all that congestion. It's not much fun out there at the moment.
It certainly isn't, Sarah. Now let's get back up towards the leaders. Joachim Andersen, there he is, number 41. I make him 6th at the moment. And this is Mark Allen lying in 5th place.
Rob, you're going way left.
And there's Burrell up there. He's having a problem. It's a long way to the next buoy, and I think there are some boats in the way. He's having difficulty seeing where he's got to go now.
Robbie!
Been shouting a little bit of help there.
So the route being shouted at Rob Burrell and Mark Allen here. And so this is Sylviane Puntus on the far side of the picture. She's 4th in the women's section just at the minute. And this is her sister swimming right in a slipstream here, Patricia. They're never far apart, so she's obviously in 5th place.
Here are the chasing men now. They've been swimming for about 30 minutes, and they're about to approach the 2nd major turn, the buoy.
And that's Cordier, still striking out a good pace and still heading first back towards the beach. The Frenchman will be delighted with this right now. That's Rip Esselstyn coming round in his draft stream there. He's in 2nd place. The American, by the way, is a star swimmer. This will be his big card today. And the view down from our helicopter here, the 2 leaders, and there they are, rounding the top buoy, and this is a very good gap, Sarah.
Yes, indeed. It looks about 100 metres, about probably just over a minute.
Well, there's a tough day ahead here in the Mediterranean sunshine for this competitor in the Nice Triathlon. But we'll move up now towards the leaders in the swim. This is the 2nd group, and in this group we've got Kenny Glar, Andersen from Sweden, Rob Burrell, Mark Allen. Up towards the leaders now, still the same 2 swimmers here. Yves Cordier of France, and he really is putting in a good performance. This, his best discipline. Alongside him there was Rip Esselstyn. And back to the chasers. Patrick Autissier, Rob Burrell wears number 1 in his cap, and this is Mark Allen, who is really a 5 times winner, out for the last 2 years. Now he's back with a vengeance.
Mandy Dean is building up really a strong lead here. She comes from South Africa, and she's a regular swimmer in top swimming competitions over there. And she's here in Nice today, courtesy of a prize she won for the Ironman series in South Africa. And this was exactly the way that Paula Newby-Fraser started 4 years ago. So perhaps we can see and expect great things from Mandy Dean.
Well, she's ahead of Paula Newby-Fraser at the moment. In fact, we haven't seen her, but she's swimming some way behind Mandy. And it must be said, this is the best discipline for Mandy Dean. She needs a good lead here before she gets through to the bicycle section.
Indeed, last year, Wanklyn was leading Dean out of the swim, but this time the roles are reversed. Wanklyn, one of the strongest Australians, especially at this distance.
Well, this is Yves Cordier here. They call him the Sun Prince. He really is quite a star pin-up boy down on the Côte d'Azur. He's sponsored actually by the city of Nice, and he's going to make it surely now to the shore first time. Rip Esselstyn, who's kept Cordier company, they're swimming over 100 metres ahead of the rest of the field. Both these boys trying to get a good lead for the transition and a good start up into the Alpes Maritimes for the 3 hours on the bike. Looking back now to the chasers here. Mandy Dean in amongst the men and swimming very, very strongly indeed. She's the girl in the yellow. She really is swimming very, very well, sir.
She looks so smooth, it just looks so easy there. They're all busy fighting for the feet of the people in front, because that makes it just a little bit faster. It's just like drafting on the bicycle, which we hope we won't see later on.
Well, of course, it's not allowed when you get on the bike, and we had the situation in the past of many of the competitors being disqualified on the bike course. Well, the shoreline not too far away from them all now. This is Jan Wanklyn. She was second overall in this race last year, behind Erin Baker of New Zealand. And so she might feel in Baker's absence she has a good chance now.
That doesn't look very comfortable out there. Still a little bit of thrashing about. But they're looking forward to coming up the beach very soon now.
Well, this is Cordier still. He has Rip Esselstyn, the Olympic swimmer for company from the United States. And now back to the chasing group, and we may catch a sight here of Mandy Dean because she's up amongst the men. She wears 34 in that yellow strip. She is now, and she's just tearing nicely some of the top men here. Very, very good swim for Mandy, but she's going to have to consolidate this year on the bike, and she failed to do that last year. Not too far to the shore now, and it's going to be the two men out first. Cordier wearing 51. If you follow cycling, it's the most famous number in the Tour de France. The winner of the Tour de France has worn that number many, many times, and Cordier knows all about bike riding. He's going to find a lot about it now. Through the freshwater shower for Cordier, followed by Rip Esselstyn from the United States. So the speciality of Esselstyn is over. Now we're going to have to see how good he is on the bike.
Well, here they've got rubbery legs at the moment. They've been horizontal in the water for about 42 minutes, and they'll probably be a little bit cold as well. And that's Cordier coming through now to make his transition. Speed is of the absolute essence here. He wants to consolidate his lead and make sure that he's out on the bike well before the others come into the bike path. He's laid everything out ready to go. Hopefully it'll only be about 30 seconds before he's out and pedaling away along the Baie des Anges. Here's the chasing group. They look like they're going to be about 2 minutes behind, I think.
That's quite a way, sir. In fact, Burrell is ahead of this group here. The defending champion, Autissier, is also here. And meanwhile, back, it looks as though Cordier is ready to leave with his new space-style helmet here. And Cordier heads out over the ramp. Now he faces 120 kilometres. His time for the swim, by the way, 42.43. He was 3 seconds ahead of Rip Esselstyn out of the water. And it's about the same as they leave the transitional here. So two men have gone, and this is the race to the beach now for the third man to hit the shoreline. It looks like it's going to be Rob Burrell, the defending champion. And remember, cycling will be his forte. Cordier's gone, so too is Esselstyn. Burrell is through. This is Rob Burrell through the freshwater shower, and it looks like Anderson is also through for Sweden. There he is. And there's Mark Allen, the defending champion. Well pleased with that, I would think. This is Mandy Dean. And Mandy Dean, in fact, second last year behind Jan Wanklyn. Now she's first this year. And there is Jan Wanklyn.
She's having trouble with that zip there. It's always very difficult. Cold fingers.
Mark Allen running up to the transitional. Of course, all the seeded athletes, by the way, have their bicycles placed nearer the transitional exit. And so if, in fact, you're in trouble at the back of the seedings, you have a long run before you even start. There's Rob Burrell. Good change for Rob.
Watch what he's doing now with his feet. He's trying to put his feet on the shoes, and then he'll get into the shoes when he's pedaling down along the promenade. Mark Allen, too, saves a few seconds.
Well, they've gone out together. It's a long promenade. To those of you who don't know Nice, it's a beautiful promenade des Anglais. It goes on for about 10 kilometres. Now let's go down and look at the girls. There's Jan Wankling getting changed very, very quickly. And here's Mike Pigg, his best discipline to come now. He loves the bike ride. Scott Tinley, number 3, and alongside him Kenny Glar. Patrick Autissier, 124 in the middle of that group. He's also gone out well. And here's the arrival of Paula Newby-Fraser. Well, she's everybody's favourite, but she's come out the water a minute and 40 seconds behind Mandy Dean.
She's a strong swimmer, but I think her best is yet to come. We'll see her moving up into the lead position before the end of the bike ride.
And here come the Puntus twins.
They're a further 3 minutes behind the lead now. They've got a lot of work to do.
Well, number 13 is Patricia, and the young lady behind her, her twin sister, is Sylviane. They really do race in parallel. They were first and second in the Bermuda Triathlon towards the end of last year. And so out goes Newby-Fraser as she and the rest of them head for the hills. These hills of the Maritime Alps make the bicycle section in the Nice Triathlon probably the toughest and most demanding of any triathlon in the world. And though this map gives no clue of the climbs and descents that lie ahead, it does give an idea of the twists and turns of this exceptionally tricky course. Well, here's Yves Cordier. He was out of the Mediterranean first by just 3 seconds. Anxious glance over his shoulder there to see where Rip Esselstyn is. And there he is, not too far down the lower slopes of the hills of Provence, which abound over the back of Nice. So Esselstyn starting off well here because the bicycle will not be his favourite distance. As we move down towards the chasers now, Rob Burrell, number 1. This will be his favourite section for sure, 120 kilometres on course. On the far right there's Kenny Glar in those pink shorts. We've got also here Le Cric, there's Mark Allen, defending champion.
And here they're riding in a little group, but trying to make sure they don't get too close to each other. There's Mike Pigg having a little something to eat there at the back.
Well, these strange handlebars, Sarah, that are peculiar to triathlons, tell us something about them.
Well, they were the invention of a downhill skier to put you in a more aerodynamic position. And they slightly prejudice the handling, but we triathletes really believe that they make us go a bit faster, and I wonder whether we might see some in the Tour de France later on this year. Who knows?
Well, there's Kenny Glar, who came out of the water in 3rd place behind Esselstyn and Cordier. And there's Paula Newby-Fraser, and she is now getting into a stride here. She was a minute and a half behind Jan Wankling, remember, out of the water, but now she's alongside her. So there's a fine move by Paula Newby-Fraser. She's gone ahead of Jan Wankling at a very early stage of the bicycle section. And this is Mark Allen here, settling in nicely now. 5 wins out of 5 for him in Nice. What's the secret behind this remarkable 100% record?
The course is fairly suited to me. I like a hilly bike course and a flat run, both of which I find here in Nice. Part of it's luck, you know, to have a good day during a big race is always part luck, part training, and it's always just come together for me here.
And Allen's moving very smoothly now. He's passing here Serge Le Cric, the Frenchman, and he didn't even look at him. Well, having said that, it looks as though the Frenchman, Sarah, is not going to give his ground.
Well, Le Cric's a militaire, and they don't give their ground very easily.
Well, here's Mandy Dean still in the lead in the bicycle race, but only just. That's Paula Newby-Fraser up to the shoulder of Mandy and about to take the lead. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tough is the Nice Triathlon?
Oh, Nice is up in the 9 and 10 range, just simply by virtue of the fact that it's as long as it is. And the bike course is as difficult as it is, you know, it's up there with the Ironman, no question. You know, it's 9, 10, as hard as they come.
She's climbing very strongly there.
We're back with the men here, and this is Rip Esselstyn, but it looks as though he's being caught now by Kenny Glar. That means Kenny's gone up into second place. Remember the Frenchman Cordier still up front. We'll get back to him as soon as we can. And on the far right there is Rob Burrell, the defending champion. Signs of beautiful Provence, and here climbing the mountain is the leader, Yves Cordier, having a much better bicycle ride than he did a year ago. He'd been already caught and dropped by this stage by Burrell.
And there's Kenny Glar, the beast from the east. He's engaged to Jan Wankling. And there's Rob Burrell coming past him now. He's making a bid for a second victory here in Nice.
Good determined effort this by Burrell. He's past Kenny Glar. Here's Scott Tinley, one of the so-called Big Four triathletes. He really has a lot of ground to make up. He's riding alone at the moment down the course, and he's going to have to make all of the going himself. Twice second the last 2 years. Back up now with Mike Pigg. Climbing very steadily. This, remember, is Pigg's best discipline, the bicycle ride, and he's overtaking Serge Lecric here of France. He does look very good. You've got to say that to Mike. He's climbing well today. Further down the course, this is the Punters twins. Number 13 will be Patricia, and she's riding just behind Sylviane. They're still in 4th and 5th places in the women's section.
Here's Julie Moss. She's the fiancée of Mark Allen, getting married in December. Lying 6th at the moment.
Back with the leader then. Yves Cordier snatches a drink. And there's plenty of those, as Sarah says, along the course today, especially in the hot sunshine. This event being held in May, it's normally held in October. It does make quite a difference, not least on the scenery here in Provence, which is yet to be scorched by the midsummer sunshine.
Absolutely vital that they take enough fluid on board during the bike ride, because it catches up with you later on during the run.
So this is the leader of the men. And now we can go back down and have a look at the leader of the women, Paula Newby-Fraser.
She comes from Zimbabwe, and she used to race over in Britain in 85, and I used to beat her then, but boy, she's improved. Ironman victor, last year 11th overall in a phenomenal time. She's some athlete.
Well, we've covered 50 kilometres in the bicycle ride, 70 kilometres still to go. So with all the competitors now up in the hills on their bikes, the beaches are returning to normal, Nice is back in business. The sea is calm, the sunbathers out in force. Here's the smooth pedalling Mark Allen, the course record holder, but it has to be said over a slightly shorter course a couple of years ago when he last won. He's still riding the mountains in 3rd place. Let's have a look who's in front, and there he is, Rob Burrell, so the gap is closing. And remember, ahead of both of these men still is Yves Cordier, the Frenchman.
And this is the trickiest part of the course here. Very steep descent, lots of turns, and very often a great deal of gravel on the road too. And that doesn't help the handling of the bike, especially using the new aerodynamic handlebars. They're generally better on the flat, but Burrell is looking very strong there. I think he's hoping for victory here, number 2. And here's Esselstyn, still making good progress. He's got a slightly different design of handlebars there, you can see, but he's not doing too badly. In front's Ken Clark. Goodness me, he's really working hard there. You can see the upper body movement. He's one determined man.
It looked to me there, Sarah, as though Kenny was having his lunch. Well, here's Mike Pigg still up amongst the front runners. And for Mike, this really is one of his favourite courses.
I like climbing in the hills, and I like the company that's out there, all the people from Nice. You know, you have the old-timers on their bikes, you know, riding along with you, saying LA. So it's really an exciting race for me.
Well, looking at Mike's face here, clearly he's on a good one today, but he's still got to catch up with Yves Cordier. Here he is, he's passing through Gillette, but the news reaching us that he's now only 40 seconds ahead of the chase group. And in that group, by the way, is still Rob Burrell, Mark Allen and Mike Pigg, three of the finest exponents in the business. Here's the women, and the Puntus twins are about to overtake Mandy Dean and go second and third. It's amazing how often you see the twins side by side in triathlons the world over.
Like it's a competition between us too, you know. Sometimes we are together, sometimes we are not, but we don't look, you know, like to finish together. We had the same quality, so if we finish together, fine.
So the Puntus twins in second and third. Back with the leader now, Paula Newby-Fraser, having a little bit of lunch. Normally the athletes eat either energy bars, perhaps some bananas, but it's very important to get some food in on the bike ride so that you have some energy left for the run to come later on.
And this is Rob Burrell here, freewheeling down this wide road away towards the bottom, and that looks like Yves Cordier just in front. So Cordier has been brought back towards the end of the bike ride by the defending champion. Fine piece of riding by Burrell. I think Cordier will be a little disappointed now because he's led this right from the start this morning, and Burrell's settling down to some speed. And it looks to me way back in the distance there in third place is Mike Pigg. So the top three men now, Pigg is coming through. This is his best discipline. He's catching Cordier, and Burrell is on the left. It looks as though Cordier here not too amused with the proximity of our camera.
Nor's Pigg. He's telling them to get out of the way quickly. He wants to go. And he's now going to consolidate a lead here. I think we'll see him first back onto the promenade now. He's going to settle in for the last climb.
So there's the new leader. Mike Pigg has fought his way up to the front runner, Yves Cordier. There he is, and he's gone out in front. So Mike Pigg putting in his challenge now for the Nice Triathlon. And this is Mark Allen, unaccustomedly for him, back in fourth slot. He's normally out in the lead at this stage in his previous 5 victories. But Mark Allen knows that the 3 men in front he's beaten before, so there's still hope. As the road now goes down towards the finish of the bicycle ride, Mark Allen has it all to do.
This is one of the perennial hazards of any triathlon. No help is allowed. Meanwhile, up front, Pigg's flying.
Water! Below! Water!
And Mike Pigg here, perhaps a little too anxious. Now he's got to go on to the next aid station for fluid. Back here with Sylviane Puntus. She's arriving at an aid station lower down the slopes. A far more gentle approach, and sometimes it pays off.
It's very difficult sometimes picking up water at these aid stations. Look, she's getting a little hot there, spraying a bit all over herself to cool herself down. Ready for the run. And there's Patricia following on just a little way behind.
And now we're back among the men here. This is Mark Allen. He's passed Rob Burrell, and he's also passed Yves Cordier, because this is Mike Pigg. These are 1 and 2 on the course now. Heading down towards Nice Airport. That means we'll shortly be along the Promenade des Anglais. Mark Allen must be feeling well satisfied now. He's controlled Mike Pigg, the man he feared most here. Well, Pigg always said he was coming here to win this year, and he's put in the challenge, but he would like a bigger gap, you know, over Allen before we get to the run, because Allen's the strongest on the run. There's Pigg, and it looks to me as though Pigg has gone off course. That's the wrong exit from the roundabout. And this is Mark Allen here. Now this is going to be a rather good move for Allen, but it's very disastrous for Pig. There's Pig returning to the course.
He was taken off course by those two lead motorbikes, you know.
So Pig is now back behind Mark Allen, and we're back with newbie Fraser, the best woman on the course, and what a ride she's doing.
There you can see her bike too. Note the two 24-inch wheels. Very funny design. She still rides pretty fast on it.
So Paula Newby Fraser, undoubtedly the number one in triathletes at the moment, voted the Triathlete of the Year in America last year. And now she's actually going well clear of the other girls. Now back to the battle here with the men at the front. This is Mike Pig again, safely back in the race, but he lost a couple of seconds on the course.
He won't be happy with that at all.
Well, in fact, sir, that's going to wear heavily on the mind, I would think, because going off course, such a crucial moment. There's Mark Allen. The gap is absolutely nothing, but Mike Pig really did need a lead here at the end of the bike section. Mark Allen is going to feel very, very pleased with himself now as he comes along the palm-lined grove of the Promenade des Anglais. A desperately long road if you're taking a patch, or as the triathletes say, hitting the wall, because the wind comes in off the Mediterranean. It's a long slog now up towards the finishing line.
I think Alan will be feeling a little bit of deja vu. He's been here before, he's done it all before, and I reckon he'll probably go on and do it again.
So food for Mark Allen. And look at this, Mike Pig's gone through on the inside of Allen. What a recovery by Mike. Now, will Allen decide to leave it till the run, Sarah, or will he try to pull him back?
I think he'll just keep an eye on him, but really it's not very far to go now. We're coming into the transition, and here we are. We've arrived.
First man back then is Mike Pig. See if we can get a glimpse of the clock as he goes under the barriers here. And right on his tail is Mark. 3:58.51 as they've gone into the transitional period for the two. Absolutely locked together. I often wonder, Sarah, as we watch them here, do they ever make any comment to each other? Oh,
yes, there we go. Sometimes they do. I think it depends on the individuals. If they're good mates, they've trained together, quite often they'll share a word, but then it's back to business. Oh, here we go, little conversation. Quick change now. Legs are feeling a little bit strange at this point. They've probably gone through about 200,000 revolutions during that bicycle ride, and all of a sudden they've got to change to a new mode of action, and it's very tough, the first few steps on the run. But these guys have done it all before.
Well, Pig has gone first. This is Mark Allen. There's the gap as they now go out for 32 kilometres along the promenade.
That's nothing for Allen. You watch. He'll catch him very, very quickly indeed.
Well, the men are out, but this is the shadow here of Paula Newby Fraser. She's a lead of 3 minutes at the moment on Sylviane Pontus. Cordier in the transitional, and that's a good one for him. He's out in third place, still a challenger for the podium for France. Rob Burrell, defending champion, and the legs really were a little bit rubbery, but he's gone out in fourth place.
He's just putting on his drinks belt there, and watch out, he's a very fast runner. I think Cordier may have trouble with him. Is that Le Creek?
Indeed it was, Sarah, and now the runners face 32 kilometres along the Promenade des Anglais for the final leg of the Nice Triathlon. Fraser returns home in the Nice Triathlon, the first woman competitor back, and a time a shade over 4.5 hours.
It's absolutely vital now that she changes very quickly. She already had her feet out of her shoes there, taking the helmet off in a moment, into the running shoes, perhaps a little stretch, and then she'll be away out on the run. I think she has about 3 minutes lead at this moment in time.
So there is Newby Fraser off and running, now facing the long trip down the promenade.
That little hill there, it doesn't look much, but I tell you, at the start of the run, it's pretty tough. Now we've got 32 kilometers, 16 out and 16 back, and that's very hard.
And so, as Paula heads out, this is the course that she and everybody else will face. It is 16 kilometers out along the Mediterranean coast and the same back. So we're back with the men now. We're on this course. On the inside there, Mark Allen, and running alongside him, Mike Pigg. Is this allowed, Sarah?
Oh yes, I think they'll run together for a little while, and then we'll see Mark Allen make a bit of a surge. He's just going to watch Pigg, make sure that there's not too much there.
And here's Patricia Puntu. She's arrived 3 minutes 4 seconds behind Paula Newby-Fraser, and in fact just a second behind her twin sister Sylviane. So they're going to leave here almost together. We hear that Mandy Dean, by the way, is fourth on the road, the mother of three, but she's running about a minute and a half behind these two. And to complete the girls' picture, in fifth is Julie Moss, the other half, by the way, of Mark Allen, and Jan Wanklin is lying sixth.
And here's Newby-Fraser looking very smooth indeed, but 3 minutes isn't a long lead from the Punters twins.
And this is Mark Allen, and Allen has got rid of Mike Pigg. Allen has gone clear here, Sarah.
Yes, they say they don't like running alongside Mark Allen because he sucks the energy out of you, and he seems to have done it here. But he's putting something back in there. He's drinking lots.
And here is Rob Burrell. He's in third place behind Pigg and Allen.
I think that's his patented drink system there. Have some special electrolyte replacement drink.
And this is Yves Cordier in fourth place. Scott Tinley, by the way, has had all sorts of problems in the mountains. He's punctured on the descent and is now out of the hunt. Cordier taking a lot of drinks reminds me of Scott Molina a couple of years ago when he was in all sorts of trouble as well. Down to the far turn now. And this is Mark Allen making the turn in the familiar first position. And of course it's on the way back when you get a true situation on the road because you see your rivals going the other way. It must be a nice feeling when you're in the lead, Sarah.
Yeah, this is the point when you work extra hard to get up to the turn and coming back, and then you make sure that you're looking very, very good when you see your rivals. You're foxing them to make them think, hey, this guy's looking strong. And that's what Mark Allen wants to do now.
Well, he's taking just about everything on offer here.
Well, remember, he staggered down the promenade in the early days when he dehydrated, so he's remembering that now. Very sensible. Looking very, very smooth. Wonderful running style.
Well, he does look good, I must confess, and he should see Mike Pigg going the other way. He's dropped him on the approach, and it looks like Mike running towards us on the left here.
Yes, I think from my watch it looks like it's going to be nearly 2 minutes in front by now. Just under. So he's looking very comfortable. Just a quick check there, just to make sure. He knows he must be on his way now. And Pigg's got it all to do.
So Mike Pigg then running well in second place, but his ploy to win the bike ride by a big margin simply didn't come off. And now he's going to have to chase Mark Allen. Looks like Burrell is making his approach on the left there. A little indication to Mark Allen. I always find that nice, Sarah, but the triathletes do stay close friends, don't they?
Oh yes, and here's Newby-Fraser. She's concentrating very, very hard. She knows she can't afford to slack here. The Punter sisters are capable of running a 2:40 marathon, and that's really quite something. It's not quite world class, but not far away. And here's Patricia in third, I think.
Well, for the first time, they're not together. Now, what's happened to Sylviane?
She doesn't look very happy, does Patricia? She's struggling a little bit out there. Sylviane never looks very happy either on the run, but I tell you, she goes very, very fast. She caught me one year.
She's looking over there, Sarah. She's in second place here, as if to see where Patricia is. Anyway, back with the leaders. Mark Allen then, setting his pace, getting the traditional Nice escort down the promenade now as the cyclists, motorcyclists and the motorists escort them down towards the line. And here is Mike Pigg running well in second place, but he really has got it all to do now. He knows he's running this race for second place. Burrell in third slot. And it looks as though Rob Burrell here is pulling in on Pigg. This is Cordier running in fourth place.
Look at his very upright style. He's not as efficient as the others. You can see why he's not running quite as fast.
Now down towards the end here, the big familiar crowd for Mark Allen, who's won this race every time he's competed. He missed out 2 years ago. He's back again. The crowd know it. As the newspaper said last time he won it 3 years ago, it's nice to be in Nice if your name is Mark Allen.
And they love him. He's the favourite.
Tremendous performance. Mark Allen, undoubtedly these days the world's top triathlete. Just a short hill, the last of many today. Under the banner, 5:54.29, he's gone through there.
That's not a bad time for this course, you know.
It's a longer course than when he set the record 2 years ago, and in fact, it's only a shade outside of that record, and it's almost a kilometre longer. You can't do better than that.
He certainly eclipsed the records of the past 2 years. That was a fantastic performance from Mark Allen. He's really back, 6 times winner here. He's unbeatable on this course.
So there's the crowd round Mark Allen as he comes across the line. The wait now for who's going to finish second. It's Rob Burrell who's coming home in second, Sarah.
He's taken pig. He'll be so thrilled with that. Oh, look.
Well, that's his mother, and it's Mother's Day here in France. He's taken time out to give her a big kiss, and why not? Because this is an extraordinarily good run. I would say equal to his victory last year, because only Mark Allen has beaten him.
He's certainly gone faster than last year. Rob Burrell is Mr. Nice Guy.
And a nice kiss for the medal too from Mark Allen, whose girlfriend's still to finish. He's Mike Pigg. Put up a great fight. He's on the podium for the first time in third place. 6 hours and 3 minutes for him under the clock.
He looks as if he's done the triathlon though. It's a hard run for him, but he's done very, very well indeed.
And the Sun Prince, Yves Cordier, gets fourth. He finished fourth last year, but of course when they disqualified Scott Molina, he was promoted to third. He's back in fourth now. So there we are, Cordier in fourth place. But let's hear now from the star of the day, winner here 6 times out of 6, Mark Allen.
This is by far the best one to win. You know, each time you do a race, to be able to come back and do it again, it's like, oh my God, you know, the number of things that are counting against you they're slowly adding up, and at some point they'll catch me. But it's very satisfying, and you know, right now I feel really relieved to have the race over. I can kind of be a normal human being for a couple days now.
How long did it actually take to sort of feel like a normal human being again after an effort like that?
I'll be pretty sore for the majority of this coming week. I'll probably do a little swimming, a little biking, go to a lot of movies, eat some junk food, have some good ice cream, who knows what, you know, just relax and have a good time.
And why not? Allen first in 5 hours, 54 minutes and 31 seconds. Rob Burrell of Holland was second. Mike Pigg of the USA third. And Yves Cordier of France fourth. And now, under a sun that is still blazing hot, the crowds wait for the women to come home. So we look down along the Promenade des Anglais, where the women are still to finish in the Nice Triathlon. And here's the leader, Yubi Fraser.
And she's past the turn now, so she'll know how far behind the Puntus twins are. And that, I think, will make her very happy, because she's maintained her lead, and she's also maintaining her fluid balance there, and looking very, very strong. It's really a long stretch back all the way to the promenade, and one way you cope with that is to aim for the aid stations.
Well, this is Sylviane Puntus. She's in second place, and she's running extremely well. She's pulled back a minute on Yubi Fraser, but 2 minutes gap as it is now is still a long way.
Yes, and there's Newbie again. There's certainly all to play for, but her big advantage is she doesn't slow down in the heat. She'll be a tough one to catch. And there's Patricia on the other side. She must be a little way back now. She's obviously suffering a bit in the run there. Still looks very smooth. And there's Julie Moss, lying in fourth place. Definitely not the flowing motion that we've seen from the first 3 girls there. She's struggling a little bit.
And these are the feet of Paula Newby-Fraser. She was third here in 1987 behind Kirsty Hansen and Colleen Cannon. Neither of those 2 athletes here today, and she must be feeling rather confident now, but still a little way to go. The 2 Puntus girls have split up behind her under the pressure. And this is the first one, the Sylviane, heading for second place at the moment, and knowing that she's left behind her twin sister, Patricia. And it looks as though Patricia actually is in a spot of bother here.
I think she's probably depleted a little bit. The energy has gone. and she's getting very warm.
Back with the leader, Sarah, and it's the victory then for Paul and Newby Fraser. An enormous crowd here on the beach side of this lovely Côte d'Azur city. And Paul and Newby Fraser, she was the outstanding favourite. She came out of the water a little bit behind the leaders. She soon took the lead on the bike ride. She was never in any doubt at all once she started the run, and then rightly so, the applause all the way over the bridge for the lady from Zimbabwe.
She'll be very, very happy with that indeed. It's too early in the year to expect a really peak performance, and certainly her time is a little bit behind Erin Baker's from last year, but she'll be very, very happy with that.
Absolutely drenched in perspiration. And now we're going back down the course. This is Sylviane finishing in second place. She's a fair way down, in fact, but she did close the gap. She's just over 2 minutes behind.
About 600 meters, I guess, so she could probably see her for that last bit, but it's just too far to be able to do anything. She looks very tired.
She certainly does, Sarah. Appreciation of each other's efforts.
These girls race each other so often, nearly every week in the States, not always at this distance. And here's Patricia. She's looking very, very tired. She's quite a few minutes back now.
She's come in just a shade over 7 hours to the 6 hours 49 of Newby Fraser, so she did crack up on this final run. So Newby Fraser first, second Sylviane Pontus, third her twin sister Patricia, fourth Julie Moss, fifth Jan Wanklin, and sixth Mandy Dean.
Congratulations, Paul. Are you generally satisfied with your performance?
Very, very happy with my performance. It was just steady. I don't think anything was exceptionally good out there. I think my swim was steady, my bike was very steady, and I just, hung in there for the run.
How does a triathlete feel at the end of an effort like that?
Well, I tell you what, you go through so many phases out there, and inevitably one of them is, why am I doing this? I say that to myself every race. I'm like, why am I doing this for a living? But it hasn't really sunk in yet that I won this race, and I know the next few days are going to be really good. It makes it all worthwhile.
So a magnificent day's sport is over, and every man and woman who took part here in Nice proving again that triathletes really are very special people.